All right, today we're diving into a really powerful idea from A Course in Miracles. And it's this: what if the path to peace isn't something you have to search for, something you have to struggle to find, but a path you just need to follow? Let's get into what's called the appointed way.
I mean, we've all been there, haven't we? Standing at some kind of crossroads in life, just feeling this immense pressure to figure it all out on our own. That constant search for the right move, it can be absolutely exhausting. But here's the thing: what if all that struggle is actually optional? So, that other way, that optional path, that's exactly what we're going to unpack. The core idea here isn't that you have to struggle and claw your way through life, but that you can simply follow a path that's already been laid out for you, one that's literally designed for your peace.
Okay, so what do we actually mean by the appointed way? Well, at its heart, it's this belief that you aren't just wandering around aimlessly. It's the idea that some higher intelligence, divine guidance, has already laid out a journey specifically for you. And here's the really important part. Every single step, even the ones that feel confusing or like a total misstep, are all part of a much bigger, perfect plan.
And the core mantra for this lesson, it's just so beautifully simple. I follow in the way appointed me. Seriously, just take a second and let that sink in. This isn't about fighting your way forward or trying to force things to happen. It's the complete opposite. It's about yielding, trusting, and just allowing yourself to be led.
Okay, but so what? Why does embracing this idea really matter? Well, because the promise it holds is honestly nothing less than a total shift in how you experience your everyday life.
When you really start to trust in this appointed way, the rewards they're profound. That feeling of being totally lost, it gets replaced with a real sense of purpose. All that constant struggle starts to melt away into peace. And maybe most importantly, that lonely feeling of being all on your own, it just vanishes. And instead, you feel this comfort of being part of a divine order.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds great in theory, right? But how does this actually work in our day-to-day lives, with all the real challenges and decisions we have to make? Well, let's bring this idea down to earth and look at some real-world examples.
Okay, let's take a big life decision, something like a career change. An ego-based choice is usually driven by fear and what other people think. You're asking, what's going to make me the most money? What looks best on paper? But a guided choice, that comes from a totally different place. You're asking, what just feels right? What truly aligns with my purpose? See the shift? It's moving from trusting what's outside of you to trusting that guidance inside of you.
And you know what? This exact same shift works for how we handle challenges. Think about a conflict in a relationship. The ego's go-to move is to resist, right? To see it as this huge, frustrating mistake. But if you trust that this is part of your appointed way, that very same challenge suddenly becomes an opportunity for growth, for forgiveness. The situation itself might not have changed, but your entire experience of it, that changes completely.
So, this is the big question. How do we actually start cultivating this trust? How do we begin to tune in to this appointed way? Well, the lesson gives us some really simple yet powerful tools that you can start using right now.
It really boils down to two key exercises. First, there's meditation. You can actually visualize yourself walking on a path that's just bathed in this divine guiding light. And second, journaling. This one is huge. By writing about a time you already felt led by some inner knowing, you're reinforcing the reality of that guidance in your own life. It's like you're proving to yourself, hey, I've been on this path all along. And look, the meditation itself doesn't have to be complicated at all. At its very core, the practice is just repeating this phrase and letting its meaning really soak in. You can use it as this powerful anchor anytime you feel that doubt creeping back in. I follow in the way appointed me. All right, as we start to wrap this up, I want to leave you with one final thought. Think of it as a personal question to carry with you, something to reflect on as you go about your own journey.
Because at the end of the day, this all comes down to you. In the middle of your own unique challenges, your own opportunities, what would it actually look like for you to follow the way you've been appointed? And maybe more importantly, how can you cultivate that trust, especially when things get uncertain? That's the real journey to think about.